Yeah, I think it was the first off my plane, but there's a few people waiting from previous flights. Here, obviously. Another thing to notice that they do impromptu visa photos. So you just got a guy going around with a camera and putting people up against walls and just taking headshots of them. So that's reasonable, I guess. Anyway, hopefully it won't take too long and I'll be able to retrieve my luggage within reasonable time. Yeah, I've never seen immigration here this crowded. Well, it's just a sea of people. So Friday night, I don't know if that's indicative, because I thought this was a reasonable moving line, and of course as soon as I get on it slows down again. I just don't know why they don't have a system where everybody goes through one funnel and then they can be set through different operators who are available, but it's the way they do it. And it took a while with the visa on arrival too. There's a lot of people ahead of me, so they got through it pretty efficiently, but still had to probably wait about a quarter of an hour. So I'm just a bit concerned if I want to find my luggage. The actual flight got in a reasonable time, considering it was delayed. I thought we were going to be at least an hour late, but we weren't. So that was good. But yeah, this is looking a bit sad. There's a lot of flights obviously come in at one time. Well, that's the first in our immigration line just decided to wander off for a break for a few minutes before he finally returned. I have never seen that anywhere before in an immigration line. So, my luck. Yeah, that was a real pain with immigration, but I got a taxi reasonably quickly when I finally got down and collected my luggage, which of course was sitting in a pile, as it usually is after being delayed so much. Yeah, I mean, the guy just wandering off from his post at the immigration counter when there were so many people waiting, that was pretty poor. Never seen that before, and I hope I won't see it again. But other people around me seem to think that's pretty typical, but I've never seen it before. So anyway, I got here, and I'm glad the flight's over and done with. I've got a couple of hours sleep, and I feel refreshed enough to go out and have a beer at number 5. It's only a block's walking distance. It's a nice night actually, it's a really nice night. A bit of a breeze, a lot better weather than in Cairns, which is very pleasant. So I've got no compunction going out tonight. Those lights almost got me. Have to pay more, I won't get happy hour drinks obviously, so just have a couple of beers, and they're probably about 40,000 each I would think. I'll find out, but just want to have a drink. It'd be nice, and get some of their free nuts as well if they're still on tap, the beer nuts. Yeah, well, I had 2 beers at number 5. First one went down better than the second. That's normally the case anyway with beer, but 55 each, so not super cheap, considering if you buy a couple you're basically paying for a happy hour with unlimited booze between certain hours. So whether they may well water down that booze that they sell at happy hour, I don't know, but it's not cheap. And I talked to the girls, I don't think their English skills were that brilliant. They seem to be a lot worse than they used to be. So I just wanted to establish whether they still had the boss lady that Heinz employed to basically lord over everybody, and they didn't even understand what I was saying. Boss lady meant nothing to them. So I don't know. I only recognised one of the girls, and she was quite nice, but that's about it. So it wasn't that big a crowd for a Friday night. It's after 11, mind you. And then I checked out the rest of the strip, to see what happened to Vinyl Bar. I think it's now called the Little Bar. There's another bar in its spot, but I'd say their chances of survival are very low if the rents for them have also been triple what they charged Vinyl Bar, because Vinyl and Number 5 Bar were really quite, you know, well run bars. I think Retro was doing okay too, and the pub is obviously doing well. Oh, sorry, not the pub, the office. That seemed to be doing really well. But I wasn't going to go and venture around the corner to the office tonight. I just wanted to dip my toe in a little into the nightlife, a precursor for a bigger night, maybe tomorrow night. Well, probably tomorrow night, when I'll probably check out the new Vinyl Bar. See what that's like down in around Beauvienne area. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, things haven't changed much at Number 5 Bar. It's pretty much the same. So, you know, that's life. But I will be exploring some new venues this year, and hopefully Vinyl's doing okay. I'm a bit worried about them moving to that new location because it is a bit off Broadway. Anyway, I'm just going to wander back to my hotel. I didn't get a particularly welcoming response from the reception guy. But oh, Game On's closed. That's interesting. Ah, well, that's unusual. I would have thought they'd be open. I just had my first cafe sewer hit, which is nice, which is iced coffee basically. And I got myself a banh mi opla, which I'd normally done, but I tried to be creative and actually get barbecue pork with it, but I think it was lost in translation, and I wanted a separate banh mi with barbecue pork, and what I got was pate added to the mix. Even though it's a husband and wife team, and the husband speaks quite a bit of English, it still wasn't. I showed it to him on Google Translate what I wanted, which I thought would be fairly safe. But no, I didn't get it. I just don't think they do that variety, so they're trying to make up for it. But I'll look out for that type of thing, because I really like barbecue meat. So these are sort of the Vietnamese words I really need to learn if I'm going to look after my own wants in that respect. But yeah, I've had a shower. I had problems with the internet, which always pisses me off, but it wasn't the password. It wasn't really the issue. It was, well, it was the issue, but for some reason it dropped out. Normally when I come back to a place I've stayed, I don't have any problems having to put in the password, but for some reason my system had wiped it out, and I thought there might be problems. I'm using this little extension. You can see there, that goes into the USB slot. I bought that online because I've had problems with my laptop. I think it's getting a little long in the tooth, and when it comes to Wi-Fi, it cuts in and out. Whether if the machine gets a bit hot, I think that's what causes the problems. So I've got a separate Wi-Fi connection to it, which I think it helps, because according to what it says by my phone, the Wi-Fi strength here is very strong. The same with the actual computer. It's just that it will drop out on the computer at some stage. That's the experience I had, and I blamed the hotel's internet, and that was wrong because, like I said, my the internet connection on my phone was fine. And these days, it's sort of like an essential of life to have decent internet. This is not as good a place as I was at last time, when I got upgraded. It's not so much the view that worries me. I've got windows, and that's what I really want. It's the fact that the aircon is not really adequate here. It's a very warm room. At the rear of this building gets quite hot compared to the front. So if it really starts to bug me, I'll bring the issue up with reception, see if they can do something about getting me into a cooler room. Because the last thing after that Cairns heat wave is extra heat I want. I really just want to avoid the hot weather. I've had enough of it. And when I was in Melbourne, I used to relish any hot weather, but nowadays it's not exactly hard to come by when you're living in Cairns. So yeah, so that's basically it. I have a feeling that yesterday might have been a stinker. When I looked at the Cairns Post, they talked about an impending cool change, so it sounds like it might even be hotter than it was the previous night. So that would have been horrible. So very happy to get out of Cairns at this time of year. It's very nice most of the year, but between December and probably early to mid-March, beware. That's my advice. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.